Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Meeting and Event Planning Program Information Session. My name is Margaret Rossi. I am the Program Director for the Meeting and Event Planning Program, amongst others, at UNC Charlotte School of Professional Studies. And I am delighted that you are all here today. A few things that I'd like to share with you before we get started. Number one, we are in a virtual class session, and due to the volume of people that are attending this program, this session, we have disabled your mic and video, as I have highlighted on my screen, but we will have opportunities for you to share information in the chat box. So number one, welcome again. Looking forward to communicating with you. Number two, I have my colleague here, Michael Utzman, who will be my producer for this session. And so in the chat box, and for those of you that are perhaps unfamiliar with Zoom, it's typically at the bottom of the screen, or you may even see it at the top of the screen where it has chat. And you'll be able to click that button and you will have the opportunity to choose everyone, and you can write a message and send it out. And so if by chance you have a question, you can put your question in the chat box. And hopefully I will see it. If not, Michael will see it for me, and we will be able to get your questions answered. Another thing I'd like to just share is you heard that the recording was in process and in progress. And so this session is recorded. So tomorrow you will receive a link to this recording so you can have it as reference. Secondly, I sent you, I believe it was a day ago, a number of handouts that you could use as reference. I will be making reference to these handouts in the information session. And if by chance you did not have the opportunity to look at them, we will send those out tomorrow as well. And that includes this slide deck as well. So you have it available and you can check your notes as well as look at all those extra resources. I would like to make mention that as we begin this info session, even though it's a short hour together, every industry has acronyms, and the hospitality industry is no different. And so I will not assume that everyone that is in this session is familiar with the terms. So I will stop if I am using an acronym, and I will share with you the actual meaning of that acronym in that industry. So with that said, I would like to advance the slide. Let's see here. And let's just go over what I'm going to cover in this session together, this brief time together. I will spend 1 minute on the University of North Carolina, just to have an idea of who we are. And then this program is offered through the UNC Charlotte School of Professional Studies, or Continuing Education Department. And I want to give you an idea of how that fits in to the picture. I want to talk about events. I want to talk about what is an event and meeting planner. Once again, not knowing the range of experience of the people in this info session. And so I could have people changing their careers. I could have individuals that have been in the industry 20 years. And so I want to just go over and make sure we're all in the same playing field of what is an event and meeting planner and how you can go and research that on your own to make sure that this is the industry you'd like to get into. Who attends this program? So I want to give you an idea from our history of offering this program, who attends the UNC Charlotte's Meeting and Event Planning Program. And most of you are here to get this bullet answered. What does this program offer? When is the program offered? How often is it offered or delivered? In what learning modality is this program delivered in? What's the cost of the program? What do you get for the cost? Are there any credits, professional credits awarded for this program? And so on. Course materials, how do you get them? So we're going to really delve into that bullet and make sure that we get those questions answered for you. I also want to go through what would it take to achieve the certificate of the meeting and event planning program from UNC Charlotte. Is there an attendance requirement and so on? So we're going to talk about the certificate requirements. I will delve deeper. So I'm going to give you this big picture overview of the program and then delve deeper into the course content, so you have an idea of what will be covered. The instructors and facilitators, I will absolutely mention, and this PowerPoint has a biography of each one. But I also shared that in the handouts to you as well that we sent you. So we're going to just touch upon the bios because you can always read that for yourself because they're phenomenal. I have and should have two guest speakers this evening. One is here right now, and that is Mr. Tim Myron. So excited to have him share with you. He is an instructor for this program. And so he'll be chatting with you from that perspective to give you some insight on the program. We'll then end with how do you register for the program, just to tie up any questions about registration. And if by chance you don't have any questions for me, I do have a few frequently asked questions that I can always show you because there have been a number of people with an underlying question that always seems to come up. So I have that available for you as well. Now, could all of you do me a favor and let me know in the chat box if this will cover everything you came here to hear. If there is something that you must have before you leave here, let me know in the chat. If this looks good for you, and you can see if, in case you know chat, we've turned off a lot of the reactions and things of that nature. But if you go to chat, you can write in to everyone, if you're good with this agenda. I'm looking at chat. Oh, it looks like everybody's saying it looks good. Okay, fabulous. Okay, but let me just share with all of you that when you get done with this, if by chance there is anything else, I will give you my direct contact information and you can just write me and I will answer anything you want to tomorrow because sometimes you need to process it. So I just wanted to make sure that there was nothing underlying that I should be aware of. So that's fantastic. Let's get started. Okay. The University of North Carolina at Charlotte. It was founded in 1946 as Charlotte College. And basically it was created to serve the war veterans from World War II. And then in 1965, it became the University of North Carolina at Charlotte. And you can see currently we have 8 colleges, 171 bachelor degree programs, 65 master degree programs, 24 doctoral degree programs, and currently we have a total enrollment of 30,146 students, which is phenomenal. We are the largest university in the Charlotte region and the second largest in the state. Now, with that said, who are we? Who is my department? I'm a program director of this department, and I'm so proud of it. We help individuals and employers achieve their personal, professional, organizational goals by offering a variety of classes, by offering short courses, 1 and 2 day classes, certificate programs like the one you are interested in, the meeting and event planning certificate. But I have many certificate programs. We have something called recertification courses. Now, this is going to be part of our acronym very shortly, but recertification courses. So in case you have a professional accreditation, we have special courses to help you sustain that credential. We have exam prep programs to prepare you for professional certifications. And we have the opportunity to come to your office and we can customize any program for your business culture, for your company, and for your employees. So I just wanted you to have an idea of where you were, where you're going to be coming to take this program. Okay, so this particular course, or I'm sorry, this particular slide is a bit wordy, but I want you to take a look at the bullets. I really do. If by chance you are investigating a particular occupation, you can do the following. You can always go and Google those job positions, and you can take a look at what employers are asking for. But what I tell my students to do is go to Department of Labor, Occupational Handbook. You can literally Google it. And you put in the occupation you're looking for, but definitely put in Department of Labor, Occupational Handbook, and the occupation. I put in meeting and event planner, and what comes up is approximately 40 pages, all itemized by tabs, letting you know the scope of work for that particular occupation. Now, in case you're wondering, they typically used to update this every 2 years. So therefore, it was fairly updated. However, due to COVID, I would surmise, it has been updated at least every few months. So I want you to be aware that, and I actually put at least 6 pages of it I sent you already, and we'll send it again tomorrow. But what they say the scope of work is for a meeting and event planner is meeting and conventions bring people together for a common purpose. And these planners work to ensure that this event and the purpose of the event is to be achieved seamlessly. So they're going to coordinate every detail of the meeting, from the speakers, the location, and of course, we're going to delve into all those details shortly. They work with nonprofit organizations, professional organizations, corporate associations, hotels, every industry you can imagine. And some organizations have internal meeting planning staffs. And I can share with you that the larger the organization, typically will have a staff. But other companies hire out. They hire planners out to handle this event. So in summary, that these planners are going to coordinate the logistical and operational aspects of an event or a meeting. So I want to stop here for a second. Can you go to your chat box? And once again, I don't want to assume. I want you to choose everyone, and I want you to tell me what is an example of an event. See, in this case, they use event and meeting as 2 separate things. We typically in the industry look at it as one item. So I want you, before we further investigate this, to go into chat and give me examples of an event or a meeting, but really a meeting is an event. So what is an example of an event? I'm looking at chat right now, and I love your feedback. Weddings, parties, corporate meetings. Fabulous. Thank you. Yes, weddings and parties. Anything else? Corporate retreats, charity fundraisers, conventions. Yes. Gathering of 5 or more. Yes. An annual event, a board meeting. So I want to share 5 or more. If I am having a one-on-one with someone, that would be an event. If I am having this information session, that is an event. When you take any of my classes, whether virtual or in person, that is an event. If you go to a graduation, if you have a workshop, if you do a bridal show, if you go to a concert, if you have a trade show, if you do an art show, if you do a restaurant opening, we can go on and on. So you can imagine that this is a very large scope of opportunities, and those that are skilled in handling all of these factors and elements of an event are in great demand. Now, may I just mention, because you are meeting me on August 18th of 2021, and obviously over the last year, due to the pandemic, this particular industry was hit hard due to the fact that we had all these state mandates where we couldn't have events with a lot of people and things of that nature. But what a resilient industry it is, because, oh my goodness, they are coming back hard. I can't tell you how weekly I am getting one after another of event planners and event businesses that are in need to hire event planners and coordinators because they are back in business. But it also opened up another opportunity. They're going to expect that event planners can also do virtual events. So we're going to be talking about that. And may I say, if you go to Department of Labor, Occupational Handbook, and you read more about what I send you tomorrow and more about the event planner, they will mention it in 3 different places that they want you now to know more about virtual events. So for those of you just transitioning into this career, I hope this gave you at least a stepping stone to where to start searching. Now, I shared with you an article called The Anatomy of a Meeting Planner. It came from planyourmeetings.com, and I received the opportunity to share this with you. But I loved it enough to make a slide of it. Because if you are investigating this role of an event professional, where you're going to be doing these meetings, I loved this article because it discusses the characteristics of a planner, the various roles of a planner. Now, you can go and read this article, but I am going to read the last 2 paragraphs because I feel it's that important. One is, and here is the first paragraph that I want to share. Think about all the subtitles that come with being a planner. We are magicians. For magically, we make budgets work. We are problem solvers because we find solutions for every challenge we encounter. We are negotiators because we are tasked with reading and understanding the many contracts and clauses we must address. Add to the list relationship counselor, interior designer, stylist, miracle worker, dietitian, juggler, motivator, mediator, travel agent, and our favorite, prophet, because we must be able to see into the future and predict the outcome of all that's been planned. So having contingency plans and being a counselor to your clients and really being skilled at being able to multitask and deal with budgets, it is very important. So definitely take a look at that article, but I wanted to share that with you if I could. Here is another screen that has evolved through the years with event planners. These are the skills I would love you to hone in on. Now, if you have been in the industry for many years, you may have really worked on a number of these skills. Some of these skills may not be innate, and you may have had to work on them. Verbal and written skills. Think about where you're going to be using this. You're going to be having to sell your proposals to your client. You're going to be having to write up proposals and share that with the client. You're going to, and that's if you're doing social events. I realize if you're working for a corporation, perhaps you have other people doing certain tasks. Time management is very important. These events have a timeline. And so you're going to have to manage your time well. You're going to have to communicate information. And so sometimes our meeting planners are project managers because they are working with the event that they would call a project, and they go through all these timelines and multitask and make sure all their vendors are aware of where they have to be, when they have to be there, and what is asked of them. You not only have to be a self-starter, anticipate all the issues that could occur and work out contingency plans and make sure that you are ready to begin all of these tasks, but also work with all your vendors and work with your clients and be a team player. Understand, I put Microsoft applications because a lot of my event planners do use the Microsoft Office products. But of course, there are hospitality software packages as well. You have to be detail and deadline oriented, looking through all the tasks that need to be done for your event. You need to be calm. Could you imagine? Could you imagine? Here it is, a wedding, for instance. The cake has collapsed, and the wedding planner or the event planner or the event professional is not calm. That will make, obviously, the clients, the bride and groom in this scenario, anxious. And so you want to be able to be calm, have a backup plan, and things of that nature. Negotiation, you're going to have to negotiate contracts, negotiate with vendors, and things of this nature. Budget management. And we spend a lot of time in this program on how to work with budgets, how to make sure that you are taking care of yourself, your company, the client, and so on. Staff management, I see this a lot, not only in corporations, but in nonprofits especially. Working with volunteers, making sure everyone is knowing what they have to do. How do you market the event? You've got to make sure people come to your event. So how are we going to do that? And notice I put in red. I just skipped to the bottom. It was one of the rated one of the number one skills for event planners in right now as of 2021, to be able to deliver virtual events and do it well. And let me say that our future of events, you will absolutely be seeing hybrid events. You will be seeing in-person events, but it may be mixed with virtual components. And being able to navigate that is going to make you very valuable. Now, I didn't put this on the list, and I wish I could see all your wonderful faces, but it would be so advantageous if you liked people. Now, you may be snickering, but I do have some people that want to get into this field, but they really don't want to be in the front end. They don't want to be the one designing events and planning events. They want to do operations. They want to be in the back of the house. They don't want to work with the clients. So there is a place for that. But if you want to be working with the clients, it's people do business with people they like. They do business with people that are approachable, that are likable. And so it's always advantageous, even if you have to work on that, but that is a skill. I just didn't put it on this list. Okay. Who attends this program? Right now, you don't know our history, but who attends this program? Everyone on this slide has attended my program through the decades. We have people in every level of hospitality attend this program with every level of experience. We have special event coordinators, managers, directors, people that work in hotels, wedding planners, designers, assistants, marketing officials who have to market events, corporate event individuals, travel agents, anybody changing their career. And the people that are in this session right now, I don't know if you're all from Charlotte. You could be from surrounding areas. But I can tell you in the Charlotte region, Charlotte, North Carolina region, we have a lot of people in the financial arena because we have so many banks in this city. And they're changing their careers. So I see that a lot. Here we go. My first acronym. You see CMP. That stands for Certified Meeting Professional. Certified Meeting Professional. This is what is called a certification. So I need to stop here for a second. And I'd love you to go to chat. And I would like you to make sure you choose everyone and put in there, does anyone know what it takes to be certified? I don't care if it's in project management, hospitality, anything at all, any profession where somebody says they're certified. What does that mean? And what I really am going to share is what's the difference between a certification and this certificate program, a certificate. So I want to make sure we're real clear on that. So does anyone have any guesses of what it takes to be certified? I see hours, education, internship. I'll share. Some of that is absolutely correct. Anything else? For purposes of time, I'm going to just jump in. Oh, I see experience. Yes, you nailed it. Okay. Typically, whenever I receive a resume and somebody says, I am certified in, it typically means two things. It means, number one, you took a test. You took a test, not by UNC Charlotte, but by a national governing body that created that certification. You created a national exam. I'm sorry, you passed a national exam. But in order to be eligible to take any of those exams, you have to have experience in the field. So you have to have experience. And that could be 3 years, 2 years, 5 years, depending on the certification. And so when you see CMP, Certified Meeting Professional, that's one of 40 certifications in the hospitality field. But this particular certification is one of the most popular. And the people that show up in this program, I usually get about eight of the people that will say, I am planning to be a CMP, a Certified Meeting Professional. And who is the governing body that created that exam? It's called Events Industry Council. So for those of you that have never heard of it, I really want you to go to eventscouncil.org, because that is an organization that set the standards for this industry. They have what is called a certified blueprint, an international certified blueprint of standards for this industry. And so I think it's a good idea, if you want to get into this industry, to go there and take a look at what they want from their event professionals in the industry. Now, this particular certification also expects you to have 25 hours of an event professional program. My program, this program, the Meeting and Event Planning Certificate Program, this program is approved, pre-approved by Events Industry Council, because this program is 67.5 hours. And so it is 3 times what you would need to be eligible to take this program. So I wanted you to know what a certification is, and I wanted you to have an idea of what CMP is. What a certificate program is just a series of courses around a body of knowledge where you will learn tools and resources that you can apply in the workforce. So a certificate, and we are very proud of our certificate programs. Our certificate programs have a number of resources and tools and best practices that you can use the next day, that you can apply in the workforce. And you will receive a certificate from UNC Charlotte. Okay. So hopefully that is helpful. Okay. So this is a very important slide, because this is where I'm going to give you the big picture overview. History of this program. How long have we been delivering the UNC Charlotte Meeting and Event Planning Certificate Program? We've been delivering this program for 22 years, since 1999. We've been delivering this program twice a year, every fall and every spring. And we will delve into those time periods in a moment. The Meeting and Event Planning Program includes 10 courses. Each course is 9 hours, 8:30 to 5:30. And once you take out breaks and lunch hour, we are down to 7.5 hours of instructional time. The price of this program, the registration cost of this program, is $2,100. If by chance you were to register for this program up to 2 weeks before it starts, it's called the early bird discount, 5% discount, you will be able to get the program for $1,995. So it's $105 off the price of this program. It includes all your course materials. You will be receiving some course materials in person, printed. You're going to get a lot of information that is electronic, a lot of resources. You will have a whole library of resources that you will be able to download and be able to have to print and have it accessible. And so truly, is there any other cost you have to be aware of? And so I like to just throw this out there. When my students are taking this program, They are going to build a network of hospitality professionals. I mean, it's fantastic. However, if you as a professional in this field want to go and mingle with other professionals in the field, there are many associations, just like there are in project management, in human resources, and so on. But professional associations are very expensive. They're approximately $400 or more. And I belong to 6 of them. And it's a lot of money. If you are a student of this program, we give you the opportunity to join a number of other programs, but you would have to pay, it's either $45 for some and one is $50. But what I want you to be aware of is it is a fraction of the cost just because you're a student of this program. But that would be the other costs of this program. Okay. So I wanted you to be aware of that. The whole program of these 10 courses is 67.5 hours of professional development. You also will have the opportunity to belong to and receive a CVent certification. It's just a professional certification for planners. And typically, we didn't get into costs of certification like that. CMP, there is a tremendous cost to taking a national exam. But this is a free exam. But you'll have to sit through a 2-hour video, and you don't have to do it while you're in the program with me, but most of my students do. They just want to put it on their resume that they're CVent certified. But it shows your industry peers that you're capable of using this tool. And it's going to allow you to be able to connect with venues and do proposals. And it's just a phenomenal tool. And in many of the event planner job positions, when you Google it, it'll ask you that they desire you to know how to use this tool. So I just want you to know I'm going to make it available to you, and we're going to show you how to use it. Professional credit. Well, we are a state university. So we are accredited and we offer continuing education units. We don't offer academic credit for this course. We offer CEUs. And for basically every 10 hours of a class, you get 1 CEU. So this is, you will receive 6.75 continuing education units. But we are also, as I already mentioned, pre-approved by Events Industry Council, because our program matches up with all the blueprint of the national industry standards. And so we're pre-approved for anyone that is eligible. They have the years of experience and they are taking this program. They will be able to actually be pre-approved for the clock hours. That is an eligibility requirement for CMP. So I just wanted to share that with you. Okay, certificate requirements. So here we have, let's delve in a little bit more. Here we have a program where you have 10 courses. This is a cohort program, which means you are going to take all 10 courses on the dates that they are offered. There's no substitution. There will be no national exams to take, but full attendance is required. Our actual attendance policy is you could miss 1 day and still receive the certificate. Now, may I say, over these 22 years that the program has been offered, I have been managing it for 14.5 years. And I've never had an individual who's wanted to miss a day. This is an enticing program that you don't want to miss a minute. You really don't. But I've had students with, that have had surgery, that have had an emergency. And if that is the case, we're going to help you, we're going to work with you. But truly, when you start this program, I don't want you to miss a day, and I want you to take the whole program to achieve the certificate. We also have a few other elements that are required. Now, for years, I have asked my participants to volunteer 10 hours in the hospitality industry. Ideally, not to do it at your work, but let's just say you worked with a nonprofit, a school, an event, and it doesn't have to be 10 hours of the same event. But what I'm really trying to do is to get you to network. Sometimes it's very, very difficult for individuals to start in a new field and not know anyone. So now you're going to build your network. And I can't tell you how many people got jobs from volunteering at an event. And here's another thing. In Charlotte, especially, because there's a lot of events that go on, what happens is people want to see you work. They want to see what type of individual you are at work. So volunteering is a very strategic move for you to get into that field and network with others. Already over the last 2 weeks, I have had 4 planners call me for anybody and everybody. They want to hire, they want to work, they are in such need, because what happened is when the hospitality industry got hit by the pandemic, and they were forced to put everything, postpone all these events. Now, nationally, not just in Charlotte, events are taking off, and there's not enough people to run these events. And so they're in great need. The demand is in there. And if you go to Department of Labor, you're going to go look at the job outlook. It has always been above average of most occupations. And it will give you stats up through 2026. It came down a few percentages because of the pandemic, but that's okay, because the trajectory is upward for this industry. Now, I put there under volunteer 10 hours, pending COVID restrictions, because last semester, I didn't want my people going out to all these different events because we were still under all these mandates, not to be in person and so on. So we will evaluate that before the start of our fall program and see if it is safe, because your safety is very important to us. Complete and incorporate homework assignments. Listen, you're not going to be doing a lot of work outside of the program. You're going to be doing some, but not a lot. When I say homework, it really is just assignments. I may take the word homework out. When you learn a series of elements in a class, I want you to be able to apply it. So there will be team capstone project presentations at the end of the program, the last day of the program. I don't want you worried about presenting. Don't worry about any of that. You're going to feel very comfortable with everybody in the room. And it's just a brief presentation of an event that you're going to create, a hypothetical event. But I want you to be able to apply what you learned. So if we're teaching you about designing your event, I want to see a design of your event. I want to see that you can apply what you learned. So with that said, there will be assignments, and those assignments are the elements of your capstone project. So you're just going to be applying the assignments to the capstone. The last day of the program, I am going to hand you a certificate from UNC Charlotte School of Professional Studies that you have achieved your meeting and event planning program certificate. Okay, now I'm not going to go through every single class here, but this is what I want you to see. The fall program starts October 8th and ends November 20th. You meet on Fridays and Saturdays, 8:30 to 5:30. Some of the weeks you skip a week in between, but there is a total of 5 weeks where you meet on Friday and Saturday, 8:30 to 5:30. The schedule we sent you yesterday, I believe, but we're going to send it again tomorrow. So it is a fall schedule, and you'll be able to see that Friday, October 8th, is the Strategic Meetings Management course. Saturday, October 9th, is the Marketing Events course, and so on. The fall session will be in person at our Center City building. We're going to be talking about where the courses are held in just a slide over. I wanted to bring to your attention that my offering in the spring of 2022 is going to be a hybrid delivery. Some of the courses are going to be in person, 8:30 to 5:30, and some courses you will meet in the evening, virtually, online, using Zoom on Wednesday and Thursday evenings, 5:30 to 9:30. So you can see this is going to have virtual components and live virtual components. So this is going to be live. These are not taped recordings. These are live, and attendance is necessary and required in those live sessions. What I do want to share, though, is if you do attend a hybrid and a virtual live class is required, there are ways to be successful in a virtual class. And that is to, have good internet, as all of you, I'm sure, have experienced through these last 20 months, having a good internet connection, having a webcam, not having interruptions, and having good lighting, and being able to be engaged. Extremely important. And may I say, for any virtual class that is run at UNC Charlotte in the School of Professional Studies, we expect your camera to be turned on. We expect it as if you are sitting at your seat in our class. So there's a lot of engagement. This is not lecture. This is not where somebody lectures and you take notes and you can disappear. This is live interaction, a lot of teamwork, interconnectivity. So 2 offerings, 1 fall in person, 1 spring hybrid. My spring program starts February 12th and ends April 9th. And these are the 2 modalities. Live online, you'll be using Zoom, and actually you'll be finding that class in something called Canvas. If you don't know what that is, don't worry. It's just a shell that will contain your Zoom class along with all your class materials. In-person classes will be held at the Dubois Center at UNC Charlotte Center City. If you're unfamiliar, my in-person classes at Center City, this is not on main campus at the University City. This is Uptown Charlotte at 9th Street and North Brevard. And I showed you a little picture there of our building. It's a very interesting building. The architect designed it to look like a stack of books. So it really does stick out. And it is right there, and you'll be able to park right next to the building. And that is an extra fee. When you come to the building, we don't have our own parking lots. So all around our building, we have parking lots by preferred parking. And you would be able to park right there and walk across the street, but it is a fee of, typically it's around $8, $8.35, right around there. I also want to share with you, because I believe it's worth mentioning, that if you take an in-person class, we will be asking you to wear a face covering, a face mask, because it is in accordance with state and system officials and the CDC and our university policy. Obviously, this is a very fluid situation. And so we are on top of it and we will follow this. I think most of you that are in this session today are very used to these mandates. So it shouldn't be anything different. We also have extensive cleaning practices in place in between classes and things of that nature. The Dubois Center, as I mentioned, is at Uptown. And I just want you to know, we have about 25 classrooms. We have several public lecture halls and auditoriums. So we're looking forward to having you visit this fabulous center. 3 of the classes in this program, we go off-site. So this is a very experiential program. If by chance we're teaching you about trade shows, we're going to go to the largest trade show in the South. And for those of you not from Charlotte, it is typically all of these off-site locations are between 2 and 3 miles from the Center City building. So it's very, very close to the Center City building. Now, and I put the Southern Christmas Show. This is just an example of one of the shows that we always go to. There is a building I bring you to that we conduct the class, but then we do all exercises on the show floor. Now, due to COVID restrictions, they did not have trade shows last year, but they are advertising for it this year, so they are going to have it. And I won't know until I talk to the management team if they're going to allow us to typically go on the show floor, as they always have, but hopefully they will. But I bring you to a trade show. For designing special events, it's one of the courses in the program. I bring you to a special events venue. And here's just examples of a few of them. I've brought people to the Duke Mansion, and we've gone to the Moorhead Inn, and we've gone to Van Landingham Estate, and we've gone to the Terrace at Cedar Hill, and we've gone to a variety of locations. Also, for hotel operations, we will go to a hotel, whether it be the UNC Charlotte's Marriott Conference Center, that we have our own hotel, whether it be a hotel in the city, but we will go to a hotel. So what I want to share with you right now, before I have a guest speaker say a few things, truly what makes us so successful and why this program has been running for 22 years is undoubtedly, unequivocally, because of our curriculum, because it meets industry standards, and we change it every semester, let alone every year, as well as our phenomenal instructors. Our instructors are field experts. These are people that do it every day. These are people that have experience, years and years of experience, and many have a national presence. So what I want to just share with you, if you can just give me 5 minutes before the guest speaker, is let's just drill down. Let's talk about these 10 courses. The first one is strategic meetings management. We really want to learn what is the anatomy of an event. I want to go through how do you tactically and strategically plan an event. How do you develop goals where you can measure the success of an event? Who are your stakeholders? How do you figure that out? How do you do a site inspection? What is a request for proposal? Here's another acronym, RFP. What is the best way to do a request for proposal? How do you create a budget? What are all the budgetary elements that go into an event? What are the food and beverage requirements? What are the best practices that we would advise the client for a food and beverage menu? What is the return on investment of a meeting? How do you know you were successful? Well, I'm telling you, since this pandemic, this is even more important. Clients are going to ask, is this worth it? Should we have virtual components? Will we save money that way? And how do you evaluate the success of this program? Is it just the measurement factors? Is it surveys? So that's strategic meetings management. We got to get everybody on the same page, understanding industry terminology and going through best practices of how to create budgets, proposals, banquet and event order forms, BEOs. Another program, a course in the program, is called marketing events. How are you going to market your event? What is the branding of your message? What is the branding of your event? How are you going to define your target market and how are you going to go after them? How do you use social media outlets to get people to come to your event? Here's another acronym, CVB, Convention and Visitors Bureau. And it goes by other names as well and other acronyms. But the point is, most cities have a Convention and Visitors Bureau. And the Bureau is there to help bring business to that city. And so they work with planners for free and try to help you get people to come to your event. So we're going to be talking about that. You see return on investment again. That's return on investment from a marketing perspective. So we'll be going through the marketing aspects. This was added last year due to the demand for event professionals to know how to create extraordinary virtual events. So we need to understand what types of virtual events there are. How do you create your vision? How do you plan a virtual event? What is a producer? Do you need one? How do you identify the equipment that you need? And how do you engage your audience in a virtual event? How do you evaluate the success? So we're going to be talking about virtual events, and you're going to have the opportunity to see some great examples as well. This is a very important course. For 22 years, this has been important. How do you protect you, your client, your company from being sued? How do you understand the language of a hospitality contract? Even if you are not responsible in signing the contract, you have to understand it. So I have a phenomenal individual teaching this program, teaching this course that will go through many of the clauses. We also have to talk about risk management strategies. If you're running an event that has liquor, how are you going to protect your people? How are you going to protect your company? What are the liabilities of having liquor at an event? Emergency response plan. You know, there's an active shooter in the area. A tornado's coming in this city where you're having the event. You are the event planner. You're ultimately responsible for the safety of everyone at that event. Contingency plan A, B, C, and D to protect these individuals. And in this class, we also talk about ethics, ethical guidelines for event professionals. Do you take the mileage points when you're traveling? Things of that nature. Designing special events. We'll go through all the stages of event management. We'll absolutely go through the design and the layout of and the flow of your event it could make or break of an event. You know, if you put the cake in the wrong place and the flow of the people going to the wrong room, you've ruined the event. So walking through the path of your client is going to be really important. And we're going to go through event design decor and definitely license and permits and insurance requirements, because that will shut down your event in a heartbeat. And we have seen it happen without the proper permits. Another important feature is production schedules and timelines. How do you do these? So even though they may be touched upon in a variety of other classes in this program, we really discuss it here. We have a half day on fundraising and nonprofit events, and you'll learn all about stakeholders and who the stakeholders are and how to communicate and how to work with volunteers for fundraisers and how to have a planning committee and how to design this event, because you're really looking at the cause of this nonprofit and how the dollars must go there. So we're going to talk more about that. The business of weddings, it's a half day. And for those of you not interested at all about weddings, please note every single item here, we can apply to any high-end event, any event that you do. And we're going to be talking about most specifically weddings and all of the stakeholders in planning this type of event and all of the best practices. And you're going to see a lot of these factors entered in of the current wedding trends. And of course, we'll be talking about micro weddings, which was the very big trend last year and this year. Presentation and sales strategies they never used to have. But it is so important that if you learn how to do all of these events, but that if you're not able to communicate your event, your proposal to a client, you're not going to be successful. And so we're going to go through how to communicate with a crowd. We're going to go through assessments that you're going to do before this class. And we're going to look at your natural style and just help you through that and make you feel better about working in front of presenting in front of a big crowd or a small crowd. We'll absolutely go to a trade show, as I've already shared, and we'll be talking about all the logistics of trade shows, how to do inventory, how to work with your exhibitors, and how to make sure they're happy, and how to do the floor plan. And it's very different than some of these other events we're talking about. The last course, the 10th course, is on hotel operations and management. And you're going to learn all about the essentials of hotel operations. What are the different roles of individuals who are managing the hotel industry? And how do you, as an event professional, work with these individuals? And once again, really delve into a banquet and event order form. What is this? Why is this so important? How do you analyze all the event proposals and make sure that this is going to be successful for you and the client? Understanding billing and pricing structures. You're going to learn how to do this your first class, and you bring it full circle by actually applying it in this class. And we'll absolutely be talking about audiovisual and lighting and the expense of this for an event and how it could make your event so successful. So what I want to share with you is you have these fabulous 10 courses, and they are taught by 10 of the most phenomenal instructors that are all field experts. Shay Blackston, who will be teaching trade and consumer shows. Cassie Brown, who is going to teach designing special events. Denise Cubbage, the CEO of Ronald McDonald House of Charlotte, will be teaching the fundraising program. Joan Eisenstadt voted top 25 of who's who in the industry nationally, is going to be teaching you risk management. Carla Eustache will be teaching you weddings. Beverly Hinson will be teaching you virtual events. Kelly Irons will be teaching presentation and sales strategies. Mr. Tim Myron, who's going to speak with you in 1 minute, teaches hotel operations and management. And Kelly Randazzo will be teaching strategic meetings management. And Rachel Sutherland will be teaching marketing events. So now what I would like to do, if I can, is to have Michael unmute Tim, and have Tim, you won't be able to see Tim, I'm sorry about that, it's the way all this is disabled, but if Tim can just share for just a few minutes about this program.
Can you hear me?
Mr. Tim Myron.
It says I'm unmuted.
Tim, are you able to?
I'm here. I'm just.
Oh, we can't hear.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Oh. Well, I'm unmuted.
We hear you just. We hear you faintly. Is there any way you can raise the volume, Tim, of your computer?
It's up all the way, Margaret. It's up all the way.
Oh, I'm sorry, Tim.
It says I'm using my Mac, which I'm doing, but it doesn't seem to be working.
I'm sorry, Tim. Michael, if you can just mute Tim, that'd be great. Thank you. I'm sorry, Tim. Tim is a hospitality professional, over 40 years in the industry, has a wealth of industry. Tim usually gets the group at the end of the program in the last class. And he really is so passionate about this program. He guides you through not only the course curriculum, but he really is passionate about your success and tries to connect you with the right people to propel you forward. So I'm so sorry about that. I don't believe Jarena is here. Is that correct? I don't believe Jarena is here. And I'm not sure why, and that's okay. But if you are interested, she would be very happy to share any of her thoughts as a student going through this program with all of you. And so I am going to, if I could, just stop here now and see if by chance any of you have any questions for me, because the one thing I can just share before your questions, hang on 1 second. I'm going to just go through very, very quickly because you can always read. I want to go through just in registering for this program. I just want to just share that. You can either call our registration center at 704-687-8900. And you can register that way, or you can register online. But if your corporation is sponsoring you, meaning they're going to pay for you to take this program, you need to call our registration specialist at that number I shared, and they will take care of the processing for your employer. And so what you can see is you have the opportunity of calling, you have the opportunity of going online. Don't forget the early bird discount is 2 weeks before the course start date, which is by September 24th, because the course start date is October 8th. And then if you do have employer reimbursement, call the 704-687-8900. And so now questions. And I'm going to look in chat. Thank you for giving me an extra few minutes. I had somebody say they have a few questions that they're going to email me. Is there anything else that you need? Well, I want to say I don't see any questions. Michael, was there anyone that had a question prior to me asking this that I may not have answered?
I think you answer all of the questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, then I want to share with all of you that I want to thank you for attending. I want to thank you for your attendance and your participation. My direct line is in this PowerPoint, and it's also going to be sent to you. Remember, tomorrow, 704-687-7397, or you can email me. There's a link directly to the program, so you can take a look at it. And so thank you all so much. We really appreciated you being here.